My coworker hid her disability on a dating app. I told her it's dishonest.
Yes.
This is a tough one, and I'm genuinely curious to know what people think. So here goes. I have a coworker called Caroline, who, as you can guess, is disabled. She's in a motorized wheelchair and can't really move a lot, but is still very capable for her job and a lovely, fun person in general, by the way. By the way, this comes from Deep Season 1577, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, we were talking on a break about dating and dating apps, how I had never used one and how she did, talking about our experiences. Casual conversation, really. And we were careful not to go into detail or anything or make each other uncomfortable till this came up. She brought up how she didn't disclose that she was in a wheelchair or disabled on her Tinder bio because it tended to scare people off or make people uncomfortable when they chat through the app. This confused me because it's very obvious she's in a wheelchair. And if they went on a date in person, they would find that out very fast. There is absolutely no way she can function in daily life without it, so she can't exactly stash it nearby or something and just sit on a chair during the date. She also told me that she does not tell them at all until they show up to the date and see the fact she's in a wheelchair right in front of them. Anyway, I maybe stupidly pointed out that is it not dishonest to not share that she's in a wheelchair on her bio or disclose it to potential partners before meeting for the first time. She told me that everyone on dating apps lies about stuff, so she doesn't see the big deal. I told Caroline that it's not like hiding you have a twin or an accent or a particular way of looking. This is something that will heavily impact their dating life with you, and they should be aware of that going in. She's a wonderful person and shouldn't feel awkward about it, and there are plenty of people out there who aren't fazed by their partners being in wheelchairs, so I didn't think she should lie about it. She went off in a huff saying I didn't understand, but now I'm worried I'm somehow being the a-hole by telling her this. I know it's not really my business, and I never would have told her this if she didn't ask me / hadn't brought up the subject at all. I just didn't want to lie to her about what I thought, and I tried to be tactful, but I think it blew up in my face. Am I the a-hole? And quick clarifications, she asked what I thought when she mentioned how she hid her disability on the app. I'm guessing she saw my surprise in my face when she said that. I would never tell her or anyone, in my opinion, on a delicate matter like this if they didn't ask first. And there are some comments. Do you have any thoughts before we jump into the comments?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're an a-hole for bringing it up. I mean, it really just would depend on the context of, like, how are we saying things? In what way did we say it?
Yeah, were you like, you're a liar?
Yeah, were you like, you should feel disgusted with your
you
dirty liar soul.
Yeah.
Your dirty soul is rinsing away.
Because if you said it like that, then you'd be the a-hole. But if she said, you know, what do you think about this? Do you think that's okay? And you're like, well, it's, you know, it's not necessarily... You're not the a-hole for telling her if she asked. But also, I don't think she's necessarily the a-hole for going about it that way either.
Because she kind of might be right. You might not get it.
Yeah.
I might not get it.
Yeah, I mean...
We're not disabled.
I'm like, as able-bodied people, we go about the world completely different. So we don't understand those, how it feels to have to kind of suss people out on dating apps specifically.
It's like, my dating profile doesn't have that my back is always messed up and out of whack. Like, they find that out later. Some of OP's commenter says, not the a-hole, you're entitled to your ideals and opinions, and she's entitled to her. Her lived experience is that she gets far fewer Tinder hits if she adds the information to her bio, so she opts to leave it out because she wants people to at least get to know her before rejecting her on that basis. Feel free to lay all of your cards on the table in your personal Tinder profile. OP says, yeah, I think she's absolutely entitled to live the way she wants, and I don't really think she's being a bad person in any way for hiding the information on her Tinder. She asked what I thought about it. I replied honestly, but now I wonder if I'm a prick for telling the truth. Commenter says, not the a-hole. I would recommend apologizing, though. Whoever she dates can decide for themselves if they want to continue seeing her after the first date. It's not like she'll be hiding this from them for 2 years and revealing it right before the wedding. Exactly. First date is when you decide whether or not you want to have another date. So OP says, oh yeah, I apologized immediately, but she's still in a huff with me, and now I just wonder if I should have kept my mouth shut, to be honest. Commenter says, in response to this confused me because it's very obvious she's in a wheelchair, and if they went on a date in person, they would find out that very fast. And they respond, have you considered that there is maybe a step or two between them reading her profile and them going on a date?
I think it would be weird not to bring up before meeting in person, but I think it's fine to leave it out of the profile and then bring it up in chat or messages or whatever. Some people would definitely not try and connect with someone with a disability, but be okay with it if they were clicking with the person. OP says, oh, I get that entirely. Don't mistake me. The fact that confused me more is that she didn't tell anyone anything until they met in person. If it were me, I'd want to know at least before showing up to the date. I know there's plenty of chatting in between, and then it's not relevant, but to say nothing at all and just let them be shocked on the day, that seems odd to me. Commenter says, for what it's worth, I strongly agree with you. I can understand her perspective, but it seems like she's setting herself up for even more disappointment than those apps usually bring. I'll be honest, I wouldn't date someone in a wheelchair because there are a lot of things I like to do that would be off limits to do together. I'd have the same response to someone who was just uninterested in those activities. Obviously, it's different if you're in a committed relationship and that person becomes disabled later on. I wouldn't leave someone I love. That's part of what you sign up for. And OP responds, I worry more than anything that people would get angry or upset or lash out at her for not being straight up before the date about her disability. Someone could be really violent about what they view as deception and she won't be able to defend herself. In general, you should be making sure that you're in a public space. Like that is always a thing. Especially when you go on dates with strangers, like you should be preparing yourself and making sure that people know where you are and you're in a public space in general.
100%, yeah.
I don't think that is necessarily like a fair point.
I think that's like at any point at any time during anyone's day, it's like you could find yourself in a violent situation, but it's like, I don't know, got to be prepared. Yeah, I think that's a little. I think you could probably tell like, maybe I shouldn't go on a date with this guy. He seems a little unstable.
Yeah. I just think in general, like, if you're going on dates with strangers, like, you should have a plan, you know? Commenter asks, are you close personal friends? Have you hung out with her outside of work? Are you in a line of work where people discuss things openly all the time? Also, have you considered that disclosing wheelchair use can attract predators, which is what someone mentioned before? As a disabled person, I would be very hesitant to use an app to meet people. There is no good time to disclose a relative stranger that you're more physically, socially, or financially vulnerable than the average person. OP says, we're good friends outside of work, like we hang out and get dinner once a week and catch up about various personal interests we share. I wouldn't have been perhaps as honest if I didn't know her well. She brought up the conversation to me first, talking about her date on the weekend before and how it went, with how the subject of online dating came up. I want to know how that date went.
That's the key, right?
Yeah. Did it go well? Did it like he storm out? What happened? Also, I'm very aware of those factors. I just think it's a bit dishonest to not inform someone when you agree to a date and they don't say anything about it till they show up to meet you and see you in a wheelchair.
Like really quick here. Yeah. I think that we're focusing a little too much on like the deception of like date number one. Now, if this is something where it's like you've been talking for 4 months and you've like, oh, let's meet up, blah, blah, blah. And you for 4 months didn't disclose that you had, you know, a disability or you were in a wheelchair for that long. That's when I'm like, all right, now you're kind of wasting our time here.
Yeah. It's like, okay, why aren't
just casually talking and then you go to the first date. It's like, by the way, I'm disabled. I'd be like, I don't know. I think that's kind of, she's probably figured out that that's just the way that works best for it.
Yeah. But there is an update. Since there's been a few questions or comments about various parts of this, I feel obligated to share more info. I apologized immediately after she got huffy with me. I did not just let the matter sit. Whilst she is still a little bit off with me, we have not stopped speaking by any means. While she is a coworker, I would say we are also light friends, given we get dinner together once a week and catch movies together, share hobbies, etc. That feels more than light friends to me.
I was about to say, like, that feels like
maybe I'm just incredibly busy, but I see like one of my best friends like once a week or once every 2 weeks, you know?
I'm really not liking the term light friend. Like it's what? Like light mayo? Like can we like not that's your friend.
Yeah. That's your friend. You see them once a week and you work with them every day. That's your friend.
Not to put OP on blast, but I think I might be sensing why their friend kind of got a little huffy with them. I don't think they probably said it in the best way.
Yeah, I think that is possible. But I don't know how well our connection would be if we didn't see each other 5 days a week. Oh, okay. If that makes sense.
Oh,
so they're saying it's more of a work thing.
Circumstantial friend.
There are people you meet through work that became lifelong friends and those that are friends throughout their shared workplace but fade after. I just don't know where we stand in terms of that yet. I have stated and continue to point out that I never would have said what I thought if she had not asked me for my opinion. It isn't my business how she dates, and I fully understand, even if I can't relate, that dating with a disability is not easy, and there are a lot of warning signs she needs to be aware of, like people with spicy fixations and so on. And I recognize that she should not put the information in her bio. However, to not disclose it before the first date when they are about to meet in person for the first time is the main point. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, we met today at work and had lunch together, as we often do, and she brought up the conversation from the other day. Caroline admitted that she wasn't angry with me, but more with herself because, in her words, I know it isn't right to not tell them if we're going to meet up, but I think it's easier to hide it at first and judge their reaction in person.
Exactly.
I know it's not the right thing to do if I really like a guy, but sometimes it's less daunting when they don't know. I explained I understood and that I didn't judge her. I just hope she can understand that she asked me what I thought, and I don't like to lie, but I probably should not have said anything. By the way, I've got to say something, and that is that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this.
Oh, yeah.
Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Perfect ending, I'm feeling. Like, that's
I agree.
reconciled, because it's like, sure, she is being duplicitous. She's lying, but it's like, that's her truth and experience or whatever, and she's frustrated because she's like, yeah, I know I should be, but this is just what works.
Yeah.
Because I do think it's like judging their reaction in person does give you like a great immediate sense on like, all right, is this person someone who I could really have a relationship with?
Because I think there is kind of this, it probably is very hard to judge that in an accurate way over text and stuff.
Yeah.
My opinion has not changed from the beginning. I think I would probably suggest doing it before the first date, but not on the profile. But, again, she has a different lived experience. So
yeah, I think it's not, and
I don't think anyone's the a-hole here.
Had a potential to like kind of go the wrong way if like OP was just like fixated on it. Like, I can't, she's a liar. She's this.
A liar.
It's like, no, it's really not even a big deal whatsoever.
No.
It's like such a small deal.
Yeah. There is a little bit left to this story. We agreed that it's a very nuanced subject and each person with disabilities has it different, so it's hard to say what works for each person. Caroline said she would try being more honest in the future with potential partners, and I said it wasn't my place to judge, and I wished her luck with dating in the future. All in all, we both acknowledged we were both a-holes and not a-holes. It's a different subject, and neither of us have a place to say what everyone should or shouldn't do when dating. And that is the end of that story. And all seems well.
Yeah, I do. I do see some comments that are like just really calling out that it's like deception and like but like I agree. However, it's all about timeline.
I also
from my perspective, all about timeline.
I think to me there's just like levels of deception.
Yeah.
It's like a little white lie versus something that's like, oh my God, this is,
It's execution too. It's like if you make it weird where it's like, hey, so you're probably wondering what's up with my chair.
Yeah.
Well, that's still actually kind of funny. I think leaning into doing it like as
yeah,
funny,
like, hey, you probably
like,
weren't expecting this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I just hit you
not
with a
just
curveball,
glossing
right?
over. Yeah. Yeah. And then maybe having that conversation in person would probably help too.
Being like, I know what you're thinking. No, the wheelchair is not for aesthetics.
I know what you're thinking. I'm shorter than I said.
Yes.
Like you could make jokes. You could make jokes about it.
People with disabilities, they like, I find they prefer levity and like and to like not making light of it because like their whole life
like,
it's been
so
like
serious.
So serious their whole life. Everyone's always so serious and they're just like, why can't anyone make fun of me?
Can't anyone make jokes these days?